What it do? YouTube, what it do, man? Your boy Wayne, we back in the building with another live stream, you know what I mean?
You ugly motherfucker.
There you go. All right, so that being said, shout out to everybody who's going to join the live. You know what I mean? I'm gonna talk about something I've been wanting to talk about. Well, I mean, I talk about this kind of like here and there. I talk about this when I do the Pop the Balloon and Find Love videos, but I just wanted to dedicate a video on the topic. But it's from a picture. Let me see where my photos at. It's called CBS Sunday Morning Chasing the American Dream. Hold on. All right, there you go. Hold on real quick. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get copyrighted. I shouldn't get copyrighted, but we going to have fun. And I just wanted to break down one video. I'm sure there's other videos on this. But as y'all know, I'm going to get the go-go going.
Good to see you in here, Caitlin. One more time, y'all. I'm so glad you made it to the world. Ladies entertainment, Project 360. When I leave you on 15 beats. Hold up, hey, let me roll my sleeves up. Hold up, hey, 3-6, so we ain't nothing to fuck with. We ain't nothing to fuck with.
Okay.
We ain't nothing to fuck with. Whoa!
For generate.
We really mean that shit, or I really mean it when I say it. Hey, 3-6, so we ain't nothing to fuck with. We about to take a quick break, right? Don't go too far.
All right, so we ready. You know what I mean? We ready for it. You know, no more delaying. Cause I'm gonna get in and out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do this video and maybe another video. But so yeah. So as I've been saying, I do this well, shout out first let me go live. Once again, shout out to everybody who's going to join the live. And when you do see the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. You know what I mean? Hit the like button. There is a Cash App link down in the description. You know what I mean? If you want to donate, help a nigga get a bag of chips. You know what I mean? I need a snack. So hit the Cash App. Put some in the Cash App. And I'm definitely going to read your Cash App on, you know, on air. And what else I got for you? So yeah, hit the Cash App. There's a PayPal and a Ko-Fi down there if you want to donate to those. And yeah, anyway, that being said, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. So this video, as you can see from the title, is the American Dream lie. And the reason why I'm titling this video this is because I'm noticing that I primarily do Pop the Balloon videos, right? So when I do these Pop the Balloon videos, I get my take, just not about like the situation between men and women. I really don't care because, like I said, I'm not the guy or girl trying to date. But my idea was always, or I thought, or what I believe as I grew into being myself or being more vocal, I always had this thought or belief that us as humans were not meant to live like this. And I don't mean no sacrificial religious way. I mean this in the sense of we're not supposed to have jobs And I'm gonna get way off into the weeds, and I figure I'm better off getting off into the weeds now and then backtracking it with proof of what's going to happen in this video. I seen like the first 5 minutes of it. It's not a long video at all. It's maybe 20 minutes, but so here's what I meant to. Here's what I truly mean to say. And I hope I don't misconstrue anybody when they watch my content. I know people watch my content and they think like, oh, I'm way off the deep end. But let me just explain it because I'm gonna say something and I'm gonna have to explain it and then I'm gonna get into the video. So here's what I'm dropping on you. The choice breeds selfishness. This is the simplest way I can put it. And what I mean by that is anytime you have to make a choice about something, it inherently means you're gonna take something, you're gonna do the selfish thing. And I don't mean selfish as in doing something bad, and I'll explain what I mean. If you go back to the religious book, right? The Bible. God created Adam and Eve, blah, blah, blah. He gave them free will. So he gave them the choice to do right or wrong, right? And so what did both of them inevitably do? They chose to do something selfish. They chose to do what they wanted to do, right? Versus what they had to do or needed to do. And that's why I use the term choice breeds selfishness. And it's not inherently bad. So in that one example, two people who had the free choice to do whatever they wanted chose to do something selfish. Now, how I'm going to relate that to this video about like the economic state and the American dream is like this. People are not meant to have this much, some would say selectivity. I would say choice in a nutshell. I would just say they aren't meant to have this much selection. They aren't meant to have this option of what you want to do and what you don't want to do. It's kind of like life or death. I like to think that if the only thing you have to do is survive, then you will survive. If you have anything else to do outside of just surviving, you will do that. And so that's what I mean by us having a lot of people are in debt, including myself. And remember, all these things I'm saying, shout out to whoever in the chat, you know what I mean? All these things I'm saying, I'm included with it. I'm not exempt from none of this shit.
I
I'm
do
telling
not look down on niggers, kikes, wops, or greasers. Here you are all equally worthless.
So what I mean is this. That's what I mean by choice breeds selfishness. That any time where there's a choice to be made by somebody, they're inherently going to do something selfish. And I don't mean selfish as in bad. It doesn't have to be bad. It just means they're going to do what they want to do. And shout out to Laughing Man, boy. What's going on, man? My man Laughing Man in the building. You know what I mean?
You ugly motherfucker.
Shout out to that boy Laughing Man. But yeah, that's what I mean by choice breeds selfishness. Now, I'm getting ready to play this video, but I just wanted to throw that out there because you're going to see why I say the situation that has to be imposed on humans for humans to get along as a society. Well, they will never truly get along as a society as a whole, but humans will have 95% get along with each other versus anything else. So we're going to let the video play and I'm
owning
going
a home has been central
come in
to
and
achieving the American
explain
dream.
that. Laughing
But
Man,
as
what up?
Jolene Kent tells us, for many, that dream may be slipping away.
I did everything I was supposed to do. I was in the military, I went to college, I worked, and we can't buy a home. What did I do wrong?
Jenny Rangel feels stuck. The mom of 5 in Chandler, Arizona, tells us she can't catch a break.
I'm a nurse.
So right there, right off the
I
rip.
love it.
So right off the rip. Number one. First off, she said she went to college and she went to the military, right? So those are two choices that she made. She didn't have to make those choices. She wasn't forced into them. She made those choices on her own recognizance, right? She made those choices believing that those were the best choices for her. And I'm not bashing her. Shout out to her. I'm just using that as an example. She made those choices thinking that those would be best for her and her family or best for her and her long-term security. as in everybody else. Everybody else makes choices that they believe is what's best for them and their long term family. I'm not mad at that. I'm not knocking that. We're gonna let it go a little further. But I will say this. The first area in where she probably thought, and I'm not coming down on her. I'm just saying this is what humans do. Is they think that we are supposed to just keep engaging with these, I would say, worldly systems. I don't want to come off sounding like anybody who's religious in this conversation, because I'm not coming at this from a religious standpoint. I'm just coming at this something from a simple point of, there's what you need to do and there's what you want to do. And 100% time, if you're not doing what you absolutely need to do to survive for you, yourself, and your family, you're going to 100% do what you want to do. There is no, I'm going to do what I need to do and want to do half and half. It's either 100% on or 100% off. That's the largest thing that I'm trying to make. So she did what she wanted to do. She went to college. You know, she got a good job and she makes good money. Yeah, I'm not bashing her at all. But that came back to bite her in the behind. Also, another thing, she said she has 5 kids. Now that is another thing that makes people, the American dream, out of reach for people, is because we believe that we're supposed to be able to just have kids in abundance. And we probably could if the conditions met for it, because a lot of us, especially black people, maybe even other races of people, but I know black people, like my mom is one of 9 kids. So I'm pretty sure everybody else who's between the ages of 20, or like let's say 30 and 50, your parents had a lot of kids. Like a lot of kids. They had more than 5, more than 6, something like that. Right? They did what they wanted to do. They had a lot of kids and they did what they wanted to do. Now these kids, you know, they treat their kids how they treated them, and they went off and made their own decisions, but it is what it is. But
Love
we
it.
gonna keep
It's
going.
great.
And what does your husband do?
He's a manufacturing tech at Intel. So we have pretty good jobs, decent jobs.
Do you feel like those jobs are enough to cover your living expenses? And
Not even close. We pay about $3,000 in rent. We have all of the utilities. We have car payments, car insurance.
Right there. See, this is what I mean by, when you're not doing 100% of what you need, you're gonna do 100% of what you want. She just said it right there. She has a car payment. She has car insurance. And she has a $3,000 a month rent. Now, I'm not bashing her for her being in her position. I'm just explaining how humans do what they want to do. And this want for the American dream, or like to chase this quote unquote symbol of American dream, is why it keeps getting further and further away. Because it's just going to keep getting harder and harder for people. Now, I don't know how she came into living at $3,000 per month. But again, that's a decision that she made, and I'm not saying that she's bad for that. Again, I'm always say she's not bad for it. I'm not coming down on her. I'm just coming down on the thought that they're supposed to chase this American dream. Now, I'm all for chasing the American dream, because if you think I don't want to make money from YouTube, if you think I don't want a job making 100K, you smoking dope. Of course I want all those things, because I too want to buy what I want. I want a nice car. I want a nice house. I want this, that, and the fourth. However, the difference between, I believe, me and most people in this world is I understand that it's not even meant for us to be in this type of system. So I'm detached from the idea of, if I get it, I get it. You know, I'll want to strive for things for it. But if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. Where I believe she falls in to the category where most people fall in is, they're going to chase it no matter what it costs them. And that's the biggest issue. And that's why I said, it's, you either do 100% of what you need to do or 100% of what you want to do. She's not doing half and half. She's doing like 100% of what she wants to do, because she has that car payment. the living outside the means, all these extra things like that, even like the circumstance you have your family live under, you know. And I always find it weird or funny that people say, well, it's extremely hard to live in America where most people don't even live with their family. So here it is. It's hard to live in America. Everything costs an arm and a leg. Meanwhile, you live alone. You're buying things that you don't need, you know, and you're going about life kind of how you want. And again, I'm not bashing you because I do the same shit. I go about life how I want to. But again, like I said, like I was like that, but I'm no longer like that. Now I'm just trying to I'm trying to hit my goals, the things I want in life. But I understand that if I get them, I get them. If I don't, I don't. She sounds like somebody who's going to enforce herself getting those things, but at the cost of paying $3,000 a month rent, at the cost of however much the car payment is, however much it is to keep up with the Joneses, however much to have these trinkets, these vacations, this, that, and the fourth. And so all of this is what I'm gonna put in my book too, because I want to like space out and kind of let you know, try to break it down as much as possible. I may seem like too like deep or too like on the surface level or too like my points are too scattered across the spectrum for you to catch up, but hopefully you do by the end of this video.
Mouths to feed and gas, maybe.
See what I'm saying? So she's got the car, the outlandish rent wherever she rents, the 5 kids. She did what she wanted to do instead of what she needed to do. And I'm not saying I don't know what she needs to do. What I'm saying is Americans at large don't do what they need to do. The moment American wants a new phone, they go get a brand new phone. The moment they want a new car, they go get a brand new car. The moment they want a new trip or vacation, they go do that. And that's fine, but I would just say hopefully you have it in your pockets to
We
do
have
that.
enough left over for groceries and toiletries and household stuff. Why are we struggling?
Rangel and her husband, KC, are both in their 40s and have never owned a home. They're part of a growing number of millennials who see themselves as forever renters because they can't afford to buy.
This home I'm renting goes for $600,000. We can't afford a $600,000 home.
Now what I would say, but a lot of people won't do just because there is some safety precautions about it, and there is some unsettling features of living in these areas is, you live in I don't want to say substandard because I don't like what the standard could mean in that, but you live in you may live in the hood for a little minute. As long as you stay quiet and reserved and off to yourself, you should be okay. You're a family of 5. Everybody comes and goes and minds their business for the most part. You can get something fairly cheap. Like let's say they have a 2-bedroom, right? But I know somebody like her, she probably won't do that. But if I had a 5-person house and I was getting killed on bills, I would just live in like a 1 or 2 bedroom. That way my cost is half. Now I know everybody. I know if I got a teenager, they ain't gonna have their own room and they gonna be hot about that. And I get it, they don't want to sleep out in the living room. But as long as everybody's good, they're under one roof and they're doing what they should do, everybody can live and grow. Everybody, and that also will help brothers become closer with their brothers, sisters become closer with their sisters. People in the same communities come closer together. You will actually get to know and love your own family more. You will have more time, more memories, more bonding with your family. You'll be able to do more things with your family. And it also gives you help with things that you want to do. Like let's say you live real small, but everybody lives like cramped in this house, but everybody pitches in on the rent. But then that saves everybody else to have some money in their pocket. So now, you can go out and afford to do something nice for your family maybe once in a while. Or you can afford to take a trip or something, or as long as everybody puts $50 a week in or $50 a month into this basket, At the end of the year, we can take off or we can go somewhere as a family, as 7, 8 people together. But we don't do that, especially as black people. We don't do it. But it is what it is.
With our income, maybe 300,000.
And what would that get you around here?
It's not going to be a lot.
Since the start of the pandemic in 2020, home prices across the country have soared nearly 50%. Today's median price, $416,000.
And that's preposterous to think of, because I'm in a home. It's me, my wife, and we have kids, and we're in a home, and like we bought our home, so we're like paying on a mortgage and stuff like that. But just to think that this is not, and like I said, this is not how Americans are supposed to live. Um, but I can't enforce Americans to realize that we're not supposed to do this. And I'm not calling for no revolt or anything like that, because that shit's not going to help anyway. Even if you get the bad person out, who's going to take the spot? Somebody has to always make the rules, because without rules, everybody's going to break them. But the funny thing is, everybody's already breaking the rules when there is somebody ruling over them anyway. No different than Adam and Eve, They had one rule, couldn't even follow one fucking rule. One. And they both broke it. So as humans, we're going to do that. But for the few people who can't get out of that mind state and realize, oh, well, I don't have to do it that way, I can do it my own way. This is no different than somebody who does van life. There's plenty of YouTubers who, they're 20, 30 something. As long as they got a reliable means of transportation, they can get around, and, they're vlogging, making videos, they making money. Especially, I know some of the girls are making money. Who wouldn't want to go see one of them homely girls, and they be, they just be in a van, driving around, showing off, staying in the van in their pajamas, some skimp ass lingerie thing like pajama set, and just be talking in a camera and uploading to YouTube, but they live in their van. They're probably making bank. And if they're keeping their living small, they can make a shit ton of money.
Are also looking at high mortgage rates, which means it's expensive to borrow money to buy a home.
And that's if you can find a home in your price range. Danielle Hale is chief economist.
And that's another thing. You can't even find homes to live in. So this is just basically on the home part right now. They'll get into other things, but just on the home. If you want to own a home, well, everybody's living apart. But the reason why everybody's living apart is because everybody don't even love one another. We have black people who hate black people. I had a video, one of my most watched just video uploads. Maybe I had about 700 views on it, but it was this woman who said a black man spoke to her in a grocery store, and she's like, back the hell up before I open up and pull out that fire on you. So she was going to pull a strap on a black man. Scotty, what up, boy? She was going to pull a strap on a black man for just speaking to her in a grocery store. So, of course, black people are going to live apart when black people should be living together in like smaller communities. It shouldn't be one house should have a whole bunch of people living in it. It should be the parents, the siblings, it was it Kate, married Kate plus 8. It should be like that in a home. But everybody live in it, everybody get along with each other, everybody chip in, everybody contribute to the home, and they all live in it. That keeps their overhead down. They actually grow and bond and learn to love one another, and they're relying on their own family members. If you grow up and you come out into this world, you can't rely on nobody else. But if you grew up with your brother and sister in the home, and that's a part of, the stepdaddy ass people too. If the parents grow up with their kids, and all of their kids live together, they can actually learn to rely on one another. But again, we don't live like that. Shout out to my boy Scotty, he in the building.
You ugly motherfucker.
You know the real cause of this? Because women are allowed to work, so now for people to get a basic home, 2 incomes is required. It's all by design. Yeah, it made everything expensive and intentionally. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. But the only thing that I slightly disagree with is I do believe it was by design. I do believe that's the real thing. But the only part that I I don't disagree with what you're saying. I believe 100% what you're saying. But the only thing I think is I'm not going to say something can't be fixed. I guess for me in my mind, I just don't believe in not doing nothing about it. And that's why my take may be crazy to some, but I don't believe in just sitting back and doing nothing about it. Even if you did something wrong, you can right the wrong. Even if you, like they say in these dating videos and stuff like that, if you have a deficiency, you can get over it. I don't believe in not doing shit about nothing. If there is something that could be done or could be fixed, I believe that you could do something about it if you want to. But the black population as a whole, yeah, is cooked. But that's the thing, and people don't even realize, you know what I mean? Yeah. The her way, yeah. The society, yeah, it can't be fixed. Yeah, I mean, I believe it. Only and that's why I say I always had this thought, and I know you remember me telling you, I always had the thought that the only way society gets back to being any type of way good where like you can go outside, you don't have to worry about you can know your neighbors, actually know them you know them, their families, you can trust the people you live around. The only way that's gonna happen, it's only one way that's gonna happen. It's not gonna happen with more technology, this, that, and the fourth. It ain't gonna happen with better health. Everybody just gets rich. If we give everybody universal basic income, none of that shit is gonna fix it. The number one thing that has to happen is no electricity. And I know it sounds odd, but when I say no electricity, the reason I say that is because everything that distracts our life, everything that makes us do what we want to do is a byproduct of electricity. So when we have cars, byproduct of electricity. We got smartphones, that's a byproduct of electricity. Tablets, cameras, even certain medicines and things like that, that is a byproduct of electricity. We eat messed up food because we're using some form of like technology, which is the offshoot of electricity, to try to make one potato into five potatoes in the same amount of time. So everything that is destroying our human awareness is a byproduct of electricity. So much so that if you take it back to the biblical days, only thing that they had as like a source of light or a source of to see and things like that is um they had the sun. So, and I'm not caping for religion because I don't like the way the pastors preach it. Um, but that's the only thing that I think can evil out, level out everything. Because if I take electricity away today, like I'm talking about right now, if I just took it away right now, there was no more electricity at least for 50 years or 100 years. Now, will there be death and calamity? Absolutely. You know what I mean? There is no easy answer. There will be death and calamity. People will go without. People will riot. I am 100% aware of that. However, if I took away electricity now and just had it, I took it away for 100 years, guess what? Humans will still exist, but now they will exist in smaller communities. People will actually get to know and love on one another, meaning I have to know who my neighbor is. I have to know and trust my family. My family has to know and trust me because it's not about what we want no more. Remember, I said it's either 100% what you need or 100% what you want. It's never half of both. We live in this 100% what we want type situation. And where that first woman said she has $3,000 a month in a rent for her home, that sounds like something she wanted to get because she didn't opt to live in a shack. I'm not saying she should, but that was an option. But she didn't want to take the option, so she took the option she wanted to take. She has a new car. She has a car note. That is something she wanted to do. She wasn't forced at gunpoint to get that car. She has 5 kids. That is something, you know, I'm not saying she planned or didn't plan that. Most people don't plan their kids, but that is something she wanted to do. So if we get out of the what you want and get into the what you need, that's the only thing I think will level it out. Because then that makes, if electricity went away today and never came back, at least for 100 years, right? Or just never came back, right? People would have to learn how to either hunt or grow or farm their food. People will have to work during the day, be outside and get vitamin D from the sun, actually get medicine from the earth. People will be more grounded. They will literally have to walk on the bare ground, you know, feet on grass and in the soil. People will have to learn to actually speak to one another, not have these like kids just to sit in the house and don't they play PlayStation all day. Like we was out and about as a kid when I was young. People would have to go outside. They would have to learn to how to speak to people. They would have to learn how to interact with people. People would have to learn how to fight or have to defend themselves from other warring colonies and, you know, communities and stuff like that. People will have to learn how to think. They will have to learn how to use their hands. They will have to learn how to be better with anything. So whether that's like something with medicine, whether that's something like food, building a home or cutting down like trees to, I don't know, build a log cabin or some shit. I'm not saying what it is, but I'm saying they will have to be better humans. Humans will be better with less. You're very rarely as humans going to get better with more. Normally when you strip down stuff, it gets better. You know what I mean? But again, and it's in every facet of our life. It's in our physical DNA, like how we're made. Like normally people are obese because they eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. Or they're sick because they eat a lot. But if they go without eating for, let's say, a 3-day fast, a 4-day fast, what does the body do? The body cleanses itself. If you go without for a long enough time, you will actually do good to the body. And that's just in what you eat. Imagine what it is and what you think when you have to be with your own family, when you have to go without technology, when you have to go without all these goofy ass dating apps, all these goofy ass ideas the world has for you. That's what I'm saying. And that's why I don't know for a fact. And I don't proclaim to know, nigga. So I don't know.
I'm not sitting here saying I know.
I'm not sitting here saying I know.
don't know, but I know you don't know either, bitch
But
ass nigga.
if you think about how the Amish community moves around, the Amish community, they have very tight knit communities, extremely tight knit communities. They live up. The women. You don't hear none of this. Well, he gotta buy me a Birkin, or if he ain't taking me out on dates and this, that, and the fourth. You don't hear none of that coming from their community. They don't even interact with technology like that. You know what I mean? You got to live in certain areas. You might catch them in a group inside a Walmart, you know, getting some clothes or some shit. Because I think the clothes is maybe some of the only things that they don't physically create. Other than that, they take care of everything else. When the boys are of age and they hit puberty, they have to learn how to build homes. So you got 12, 13-year-old boys in Amish communities who know how to build homes, like who know carpentry, woodworking right there at 12, 13 years old. The women ain't out here talking about he got be this, that, and the fourth. Also, you don't have women being hoes. So in those communities, now again, I don't proclaim to know, but in those communities, you don't have women being fast. You don't have women selling themselves. Why? Because they're doing what they need to do for survival. They don't have the luxury of just, okay, I'm gonna hop on a dating app and go, you know, it ain't shake that ass time. You know what I mean? They can't just go do that. The boys don't have the same option to just stay in the house, play PlayStation, smoke weed all day. But that's what happens when you're stuck doing what you need to do and not what you want to do. But I don't know.
At Realtor.com.
One of the reasons is that we haven't had enough building over the last decade. And when you have a shortage of supply And a steady amount of demand, the way the market solves that is by pushing prices higher.
How short are we?
The estimates vary. At Realtor.com, we estimate that we're 4 million homes short.
Home prices have gone up 300% since 1990. How have incomes kept up?
Incomes have gone up as well, but by roughly half that amount.
If the prices of homes have tripled and incomes have not kept pace, does this just automatically take a large population out of the running?
Well, I don't think it totally shuts people out because homeownership is such a central part of the American dream.
A Realtor.com survey found that 75% of Americans believe in that dream.
Now, that proves to you that it is at least 75% of Americans that smoke hard drugs, nigga. Because I don't know what 75% of Americans believe that owning a home is still a part of the American dream. Well, maybe, let me disagree. Let me not say that, because it depends on what, again, that's why I don't like arbitrary terms or phrases. What do you mean by American dream? Is this what you mean that people should do? Or is this what you mean when you say American dream? Do you believe that this is what everybody wants to achieve in life? Is that what you mean? Because if you say 75% Americans still believe that owning a home is what everybody else wants to do. Sure. Do I believe that 75% of America wants to own a home? Yes. But we're not meant to live like in that way. We're just simply not meant to live in that way. In fact, we actually used to live in I forgot the term, it's a term, but they used to have basically like these cabins that were like extremely long. And it would be like where your whole block would live. So the women would kind of live on the women's side, the men would kind of congregate on the men's side. They would come together. Imagine like a big kind of like I don't even know, kind of like a the area that a high school would be at. Imagine their grounds being like where all the men and women in that particular community lived at. So the women had their own women thing where the women taught the women how to, I don't know, wipe their box or do whatever the women thing do. Whatever the women do, that's what they taught them how to do. And the men had the men thing when the boys were not being in school. Once they nuts drop, then the boys had to go out with the men and actually had to do men things. But we don't live in that society no more. That society is at least 200-300 years old. And the part that I'm really talking about is closer to the Jesus age than what I'm really trying to explain. But I don't know. What you think about that, Scotty? Is that making sense? That's just what I thought. And I always believed that that's how it was meant to work. But it never really was like that. And if anybody does want to be for anybody who wants to be like hard on the church aspect of it, even the book talks about like the dangers of technologies and stuff like that. The Bible was all those stories in the Bible, all those accounts in the Bible, there was very few technology that was used. Everything else was kind of like man built. And sure, you can say electricity is man built. Yes, technology is man built, but again, it's I don't think that we were meant to build electricity. I literally think that harboring electricity, once you start taking what the earth gives you and you start like repackaging it and like you put it into like something else, that's when it's an issue. That's when I think you hit the limits. You hit the limits of what God wanted for us. Because it's like our food, you know what I mean? We literally got food. You put it in the ground. You let it rain. You got to put it in the ground at a certain depth. You got to harvest at certain times of the year. And you have whatever that crop is. Right? Some crops are all year round. Some crops are 3-season crops. Some crops are like summertime. Now we got watermelons everywhere and stuff like that. Cool. So you literally have that. And then, but now when we want to feed 50,000 people, now there's a guy who realizes, oh, well, let me make a chemical and spray it on the ground and grow the fruit. And now that's when it's out of its natural state. That's when it's not being used how it was intended to be used. A seed is meant to be put in the ground and grow into what it's supposed to grow into. No different than weed. You know what I mean? Weed is a plant. You put the seed in the ground, it grows. That's about how strong gas is supposed to be when smoking weed. But then you have people who come along with chemicals, spraying it, trying to cross-pollinate it with 50 different other strands, and now we got harder drugs. See what I'm saying?
And it can be done, but it might require pulling up roots and heading to the heartland.
Come visit Topeka, give us just one day.
You ugly motherfucker.
Y'all put this broke-wristed, pale,
You have to read this story.
pale-ass dude up here thinking he, you know what I mean? He talking about coming to Topeka, Kansas. Bruh. Topeka, Kansas is cooked no different than New York or California. And the reason why Kansas is cooked is because they still operate on the same rules. You know what I mean? They still spray their crops. They still harbor electricity there. They still got, you know what I mean, goofy ass people doing, you know, things there. They still got the lottery system that people can play there. They still use these worldly things that we were never supposed to use. So Topeka, Kansas ain't no better. Now, sure, I can go down there and get a better house, probably for the size, but it's still not how we're supposed to live. But, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Let's see what this goofy guy got to say.
Kansas, as in there's no place like home.
This is a city where the American dream is still possible. Had you gone here 10 years ago?
Bob Ross is one of the leaders behind Choose Topeka, a program offering people a relocation incentive of up to $15,000 to move to town.
Topeka, Kansas. I know University of Kansas is in Lawrenceville. It's either Lawrenceville or Lawrenceburg. Or Lawrence, Kansas. I think that's what it is. Lawrence, Kansas. I don't know where Kansas State is. Wichita State, I don't know where they're at either. They could be in Topeka. I don't think any big D1 school is in Topeka. I could be wrong, but who knows?
Who is the typical participant who applies and gets into this program?
They're coming from over 37 states, and they recognize that the cost of living that they can get here is so much more meaningful to them.
Again, now he could be right with the cost of living, but it's coming at a trade-off. You got to live in Kansas, nigga. I mean, look at this. This is Topeka, Kansas. This is their downtown. Now, I'm not bagging on their downtown, but look, you don't see any big buildings. You see 1, 2, and that looks like a parking garage or apartment complex over there. I mean, if you live here, you're going to be doing something online, making money, or you're going to be doing something in physical labor. But ain't nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? It's just, nigga, that's not a lot. You know what I mean?
Choose Topeka is funded by a half-cent county sales tax.
And when you visit Topeka, you might decide to stay.
More than 200 families have moved to the capital city of Kansas since it launched in 2020. And Ross says 90% of them have stayed.
This feels like what I've always envisioned my family home to be.
Less than 2 years ago, Allison and Jacob Reynolds were living in Northern California with a newborn.
On average, where we lived, a 2-bed, 1-bath house would be $500,000. Like, that's like kind of a fixer-upper. So just, yeah, it would have been unfeasible for us financially without support from someone else.
Turns out Allison, a high school teacher expecting baby number 2, is a Topeka native.
How did this movement change America?
The couple took advantage of the Choose Topeka Boomerang incentive, which offers past residents $5,000 to move home.
The grant incentive that we applied for and received completely covered our moving expenses.
Would you have made the move without the grant?
I think we might have, but it would have definitely left a hole in our pocket.
Yeah, we would have needed some help.
Yeah, so that down payment on the house kind of emptied us out.
Wait, so he's saying that they moved to Topeka, Kansas. They got an incentive to move, but then they wasted the money on a down payment on the house.
They purchased their 4-bedroom home for $179,000. Their monthly mortgage in Topeka, $1,300.
Okay, so the home I'm in was 178 when we got it. I don't know when this was shot, but I live in southern Indiana. So our home looks kind of similar. And they got a 4-bed house. They probably got 3 baths like we do. And this is split level. So the first level is probably got 1 or 2. This house is probably exactly just like mine. Could be. I don't know. The layout could be different, but it's probably split level just like mine. But mine, the house is down and the driveway is above, so it kind of slopes down into. And he seems like he's on a quiet neighborhood.
Their
Hold on.
They
He's got is that a sidewalk? He ain't even got a sidewalk. I'm not judging the house. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. That could just be how they do things there, but this is a nice home. This is a nice looking home. I'm not crawling up under that shit though. The hell with that. If something fall under the deck down there, I ain't going to get it, bruh. You just lost it.
purchased their 4-bedroom home for $179,000. Their monthly mortgage in Topeka, $1,300, compared to $1,800 a month for rent in California. $500 of savings they put towards childcare.
Woo! Good job.
You see? So, and shout out to them because they're making it happen. And I don't ever come down on people and what choices they make in life. But even when they could have saved that $500, what did they do? They got to put it toward child's care because they just had another kid or they're having another child. But yeah, it's just unfortunate, man. The American dream really is over and dead
The
and
Reynolds
gone. But
bought in their early 30s, beating today's average 40-year-old first-time home buyer. And that gives them a head start.
If you can buy a home closer to age 30 versus age 40, that means you have a $100,000 additional net worth boost by the time you turn 50.
Back in Arizona,
see, I don't like metrics like that. Because when you say net worth, like there's so many other things that go into it. And that net worth ain't actualized until you sell it. See, that's why I say this whole American dream is dead. That's another reason why I like, because all these extra metrics, they're not reliable. Yes, your home could have that much value in it. Yes. But it ain't value until you sell it. You know what I mean? You got to sell the home to get that. And don't let something happen where, the big bad wolf huff, puff, and blow your house down before then. God, I just don't like those metrics,
41-year-old Jenny Rangel is still chasing the dream.
I'm not going to give up. The goal is to buy a home in 3 years. If I have to get a second job as a nurse, then so be it.
You will.
This is so bad. And I actually feel for this woman because, again, I actually believe all of us, like me and all these people, this woman and her family, the other guy and his family, They just moved to Topeka, Kansas. We're all supposed to be in a community where we lean and depend on one another. We're supposed to have trust in the people we live around, but the world is crazy. Won't nobody else do that? And I truly believe the only way we fix this is we got to get rid of electricity. That's the only linchpin. I think once electricity goes and it never is restored, because you think about every other area where electricity is not there and it's restored. Sure, they still have, groups and cliques that decide to do evil things, but you look at some parts of like rural, it's hard to say that word, rural Asia or even Africa. Those people depend on one another. They know one another. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's just crazy to think that, this is how we live in America. And again, I don't think it's supposed to be like that. I never wanted it to be like that. Of course, I don't have no fucking say in it, but it is what it is. These are just always a little bit of my thoughts on how we got to this point. But
I'm gonna do it.
it is what it is,
I'm
man.
gonna give my kids something to be proud of.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, man. Y'all can put what y'all think down in the chat, man. I hope I wasn't, I know I'm not too terribly off, but let me pull up a homestead journey. And shout out to her because I like watching her channel. She's a fantastic content creator. I've been watching her for like a year or so now. But she's great. Hold on. Let me pull up her channel.
We're living in a time that even though people are so connected because of the internet, because of our phones, because of all of
Shout out to Homestead Journey. This is a great content creator. I like her content, you know what I mean? Shout out to you.
this technology around us, people feel the most disconnected ever. Isn't that quite a phenomenon?
Yeah.
Between honestly all the stress that's going on and between just wanting to even kind of pull back from society because people can't cope anymore, it's really like a spreading epidemic.
Is it just me or has anyone else noticed a massive shift
What happened? Oh.
in the last few years? I swear it's since COVID. I swear, which I think the entire universe has shifted since COVID. Like everything feels different. Time is different. Like something's going on. But I'm specifically talking about school. If your kids go to public school, I have 3 kids. My oldest graduated 2 years ago. My middle is a senior. And my youngest is a sophomore. And I don't remember feeling like this, but I feel like their entire 4 years of high school, which has been like post-COVID, they have like not wanted to be there. They don't have any reason to feel that way. They have tons of friends. They're very social. They've never had any issues in school. They're in sports, like they're in activities, like they're very, like you wouldn't think that they would not want to be going to school, but they legitimately don't want to be there. It's almost like they are seeing the world differently than I did at their age. Like they don't see any
What's up,
value
Scotty?
in it. They are learners.
We gonna
They
get
love
on
to
that
learn.
pot
They
the
would rather
balloon.
be
I
at
think
work all day.
tomorrow,
My husband
probably
and I
close to
own our own
midnight. I don't know
business,
if my nephews
or
come over. I'll probably be close to the midnight, but yeah.
our neighbor who owns his own business, they'd rather start their own business and start working. It's like by the age of 14 or 15, my kids were like, kind of wasting a lot of time in this building. Public education in general, I mean, don't even get me started. But it's like, are you guys noticing with your teenage?
Oh, and that's what I meant to say about the other video we was talking about. That's a big point that I mentioned too. That I forgot to mention. When you get rid of, like I said, the number one thing that's going to turn the world back around is it has to be electricity. Electricity has to go. Electricity is the linchpin. And it fuels everything that destroys humanity is electricity. However, that is another thing that I forgot to mention is schooling, education. So when you live in a system like rural China or deep in the motherland of Africa, those kids, those families, they teach their other kids how to do whatever the work is that's needed to be done there. how to grow the food, how to take care of the land, how to farm, how to do whatever the physical labor entails for that land. And they have their own traditions. They have their own little sports that they play. They have their own little competitions. The girls have their own competition with the girls. The boys have their own with the boys. The boys learn how to, like, they learn the things that they need to learn from people. Like, you don't have to go to school all these years to learn nonsense. And I never quite understood why I didn't like school per se, because I was an ADHD kid. But it always just, I realized why I kind of always like felt the way about certain things when I just kind of embrace like the way I think. It's like, bruh, there's no ending in sight to this nonsense. But it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. You know what I mean? Like even schooling, we just go, we send our kids off to school, and I get it. If we don't send our kids off to school, then the government's going to come and throw me in jail or something like that, right? But that's a whole nother issue we have to figure out a way to get around. But I mean, school doesn't teach kids nothing. And how could school ever teach kids anything if the parents, the teachers aren't nothing to begin with? And I'm not dissing on school education, but teachers are stupid too. Teachers are no different than anybody else. Teachers are just as dumb. Hold on. Teachers are.
I do not look down on niggers, kites, wops, or greasers. Here you are all equally worthless.
Teachers are equally worthless as everybody else, bruh. That is no diss. Y'all are equally as worthless because y'all are in the same position everybody else is in. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Kids, but their thought process and their minds are just so much more critical and aware of the world than you were at their age. And they're like, this whole institutionalized learning thing is a little bit bogus.
Have any other millennials in their 30s just woken up one day and realized that this was not the life that they were meant to live? Like, whatever we were chasing, whatever career ladder that we were brainwashed to convince that this is how we were supposed to be, we're supposed to just follow this perfect map of, oh, you go to college, you get a job, you get promoted, and then you retire at 65, you're miserable, you save money for what? To go on vacations, just to be in pain, you can't stay out late, you don't know what health or medical conditions you're going to have at that point. Like, what are we doing? This is not it.
So is anybody else just kind of like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah. Everybody's like that. Everybody's thinking like, what the hell are we doing? There's no sacrifice, bruh. We have to get rid of something. Something has to, like I just said, normally when the body is fasted, like when you don't eat food for up to a day, 2 days, 3 days, the body starts to cleanse itself. So notice when you subtract food from the body, it cleans itself. So how do we subtract something from our world to help cleanse our humanity? There's got to be something that we can remove that will just kind of get the ball rolling. And I swear, I'm telling y'all, it is electricity. Because everything that electricity isn't bad, but every offshoot that it does power causes destruction. The machines that spray our food run off electricity. The bills that we have to pay for anything run off electricity. The social media, the advertising, all these stupid gizmos and stuff like that make us lazy. The washing machine, the dryers, where we would physically have to do that if we lived in our human state. Those run off electricity. Our cars run off electricity. Elevators and escalators run off electricity. So when you want to go in your car and go 20 minutes downtown and try to get a beer and watch the game. Whereas if we lived in the human state where we'd have to walk places, that runs off electricity. Everything bad to humanity runs off of electricity. There's like almost nothing that runs off of non-electricity that kind of that's good, you know. And I'm not saying electricity is bad because electricity as a whole isn't bad. But everything that destroys humanity runs off of electricity. It is what it is.
I just got out of a therapy appointment, and I went in there and I was talking to him, and I told him about how I'm kind of stressed out about everything that's going on, you know, and essentially my thing is seeing how deep and far widespread all of this potential corruption goes, and to know and be able to put
That's something that runs off electricity. The government runs off electricity. See, everything that's bad for the world runs off electricity.
the pieces of history together and understand that human beings have lived in this system for millennia of there are these certain people that are at the top that have accumulated mass amounts of wealth and ultimately power, and those people control things and they control the population, and essentially they own the population. And it's been like this for thousands of years, you know. In medieval Europe, in the feudal system, that's what this is essentially. They own us. And knowing that it's been going on for so long, and that it's so far spread, it touches damn near everything. Like, I mean, we were talking about it's in the food industry, it's in the housing industry, it's in your media, it's in the music you listen to. It's all some psyop, right? It's a manipulation. It's all a lie. And it touches everything. Like, you can't escape it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't see. That's where I get it, and that's one of the things, like, we just fly off the handle and this, that, and the fourth. We can escape it, but people don't want to go the extra mile, bruh. People don't want to, people don't want to live and die about it, bruh. You know what I mean?
Then ask me what would Jesus do? Nigga, die about it!
If you want to escape it, die about that shit. Get out of it. Stop dealing. You know what I mean? I'm not saying lose your life. That's not what I'm saying. Like, you have to be willing to sacrifice. It's like sacrificing it all. Like, you have to leave it all on the table. All of it. Every last bit of it. But there are very few people that will do that.
Like, it's so rampant. And I'm talking to him about this, and he's like, but at the end of the day, what can you do? Right?
That's my issue right there. And that's why I got the tea top.
Then ask me what would Jesus do? Nigga, die about it!
But what are you gonna do? And this is your therapist talking to you. Y'all. I know people eventually. I know maybe I feel like I'm way ahead of my generation or way ahead of my time. But one day somebody's gonna pick up the book after I leave. After I leave this in my dying breath. In my dying breath, I'm gonna clutch on to the book. Then somebody's gonna pick it up, read it, and then they're just gonna, like, start making the world a better place. And I was never gonna be here to see it, but I mean, that's what it is essentially. We gotta get away from these things, but nobody wants to get away from it. Everybody just wants to keep plugging and playing, plugging and playing, plugging and playing into it every day, thinking you're gonna, get a new cheat code. You're not. Nobody wants to surrender to it. No, you know, but it is what it is.
Right? And it's just, you just can't let it control your emotions, and you can't let the algorithm get you all tossed up in it. Maybe I'm supposed to be insane. Maybe this shit is supposed to make you furious. Maybe this shit isn't supposed to make sense. It's supposed to make you question it. Maybe all of these emotions that you're trying to regulate with drugs and pills and distractions, you're supposed to be feeling because it's supposed to motivate you to do something about it.
We're sold this like dream, right? You can do it all. A woman can do everything. And damn right, we can, right? We can. I just don't want to. I don't want to. I'm tired. I'm tired. I just want to live. I'm tired. Like, hey, you know what's great about being a woman? You can like work and make your own money, and then you can take care of your kids, and you're just like, when am I gonna do all of that? Like, when is that gonna happen? Because, you know, I clock in for one job and then get home and clock in for the next one.
See, that's part of the issue right there. And that's why that's another offshoot. And that's the reason why I say, like, this is a shortcoming that I believe the church can handle, or the church should handle. Because they have to teach people that either way it goes, you're going to do that. We're not gazelles or lions. We're not born with the instinct of, as soon as birth, we know how to walk. We know how to reason. You know, we know who our parents are. We don't stray far away from them. No, we have kids. They're dumb. You know what I mean? Not saying the kids are stupid. I'm just saying, like, kids don't know right from wrong. You know? It takes time. It takes years for them to realize, oh, I can't just do something. I'm in this type of system. I need to learn how to think. Like, it takes years for that to happen. You know, they can't even wipe their own ass. So, yes, it takes time. And so in my head, I'm thinking, like, if a woman doesn't want to do that, well, either way, it's on you to do it anyway. You know what I mean? Now, if you don't want to do that and have a job, okay, cool. Maybe we can try to work things around as a country, but there's going to have to be significant sacrifices made, for one. And number two, you're going to have to know that some things you're not going to get outside of, like death. The only thing life guarantees is one day you're not going to be here. One day. I don't know when that day is. I hope it ain't for a very long time. But you have to stomach that. You have to deal with that. You know? So if you don't want to stomach being a parent, well, I really don't know what to tell you. You don't have to have kids, but I mean, if you have kids, you're going to have to be a parent. You know, if you don't want to work, you still got to be a parent. So, you know, even if I took electricity away, like I say, the only thing I think that can solve it is, you know, we have to get rid of electricity. Even if I could do that, you're still gonna have to be a parent. You're gonna have to be an Amish type parent. You're still gonna have to raise food. You're still gonna have to learn how to clean or make food. The husband's still gonna have to learn how to build something. This is why I never quite understood how dudes don't want to learn or don't know how to build anything. I mean, I'm married, so I've built every damn thing, bruh. Replaced toilets, outlets, built furniture, desks, beds, like all type of stuff. Worked on cars, like to certain bleeding brakes, changing brakes. Like, I done all that, bruh. You're still gonna have to learn how to do that with or without the woman. So if a woman complains that she doesn't want to go to work and like raise a kid when she comes home, like clock into her second job when she comes home, that second job is gonna be here regardless. Shout out to Rose Mozzie. He had a thumbnail, one of his things a long time ago. But I mean, it's a phrase that everyone fights, no one quits. Bruh, we all in this shit together, bruh. Don't nobody get out unweathered. Bruh, life is beating all of us down, bruh. Even if I got rid of electricity and we just lived like they did in the Bible days, you still gonna have to go outside and raise food and like figure out how to make food. You gotta eat. You still have to learn how to take care of kids. Like, man, like there's no gap for just shake that ass time. You know what I mean?
Probably going through some midlife crisis where I've given every ounce of myself to a company, climbed this ladder to be somebody, and really the most important thing to me is being a mom. And my kids are getting older. I don't know. Maybe I'm just going through it. I could just be going through it. It's because I turned 40 and my kids are getting older, but I am just having these moments of just like, what am I doing? You know, I feel like there's, you know, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I don't have an answer.
My dad would tell me, do some push-ups, nigga. That's exactly what my dad would tell me. If I even came to my dad with any of this shit, he'd be like, bruh, go do some push-ups, bruh. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to say, bruh. Like, go do some push-ups, boo.
Hey, I've come to the realization lately that my nervous system is fried. Like, my nervous system is so damaged from years of trauma, years of stress and anxiety. Like, I'm at a place now where I'm prioritizing calmness, peace, slowing down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I try to do everything at a slow, controlled pace. Like, let's say that I'm late for work. I ain't about to rush to get to work, because no matter how much I rush, I'm still late anyway. So I'm about to take my time. If I can't find the keys, I ain't rushing to find the keys. I'm going to find the keys in due time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying, if I'm washing my dishes, I'm about to actually just immerse myself in the process of washing the dishes, not rushing to get it over with or just anything that I'm doing, you know?
That's cool. I mean, I ain't got no beef with that. You know what I mean? It is what it is, man. You know what I mean?
You ugly motherfucker.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I ain't got no beef with
my
that.
nervous system fried and it need a break, and I deserve that. Like I don't even like.
Ain't no breaks, bitch. Ain't no breaks, bruh. Everyone fights, no one quits. That's how this works.
I don't know if y'all can relate. Like, when my phone ring, if my phone ring, especially if it's not on vibrate and it actually ring, that just triggers anxiety, because I've experienced phone calls that were bad. You know what I'm saying? That was like real tragic on the other line. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't recovered. And like, when people say my name, if somebody like yells my name, bro, it makes my skin boil. Like, I don't know, bro.
All right, well, we gonna wrap it up on that, because he talking about his skin boiling, bruh. Come on, bruh.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
Finish this. This is so delightful to watch. It's ridiculous.
Bruh. At this point, sir, it don't even matter, bruh. It is what it is. That's how the cake crumble. The cookie crumbles like that, bruh. You just you're at a point in your life where I'm at that point too. But I guess for me, I'm like, well, I'm gonna get things out that I want to try to get out into the world, and what happens is what happens. But I'm going after for what I want. But I mean, it is what it is. That's all you can do. But don't let people stress you out of that position, because I mean, I've been mentally at a place where I wouldn't try something just because I had like somebody who wants me to do like a different, like I know they don't want me to do the option that I want to do. So I'm trying to go this way. I know they don't want me to go that way, and they're going to bitch and complain. But I'm still gonna go that way, bruh. That's how it's gonna work. But yeah, bruh. Anyway, shout out to my boy Scotty and Laughing Man for coming through.
You ugly motherfucker.
I'm finna see y'all back here tomorrow. I'm gonna be on with a pot of balloon and find love. So yeah, man. But yeah, I just wanted to get some of my thoughts off because yeah, you know, it's a lot of it's a lot of um it's a lot of talk of how everybody's just kind of at a place where they think this American dream is just going to happen. And to be perfectly honest, the American dream is over. Um, the American reality has set in, but I would say not the American dream been over. To me, the human dream is over. I think we're at the human reality. And what I mean by that is there's no more lies to tell. That's why everything in the world is so messed up, is because in order for things to be good, in order for you to have fun at doing something, you have to be dumb. You have to be dumb as to like what truly is happening. Like going to the club, just wasting money on stupid stuff, drinking, smoking, all that stuff, partying when you're like 18 to 23. It seems fun, and it is fun for an 18-year-old to party. Don't get me wrong, it is fun. But when I say fun is dumb, is because he doesn't realize that he's burning that money. He's never going to see that money again. That money could be used for investing. That money could be used for getting something that would benefit him off the ground. You know, that money could be used for good. He is wasting his time. He doesn't realize that he's running the risk of he's doing damage to his body with the drugs he's doing. Or he may knock a girl up. So there's all these different facets to like why I say fun is dumb, but in totality I mean like there's no more lies. We're living in the world, like we're living in truth now. So there's no more lies to be sold. Every cup has been turned over. Every rock has been turned over. You know, there's no more. There's no more. Oh well, just do this and don't work. No, we all know how that ends. We all know. We all know it's a scam. We all know it's not going to help you. It is what it is. There's no more lies to be sold. So now we just have to live with the miserable, sobering, disgusting, vile reality of it is what it is. You know what I mean? When you see a little magic trick as a kid and they do the magic trick, it seems like he has a power because you don't know until you get older that he just slid the box real fast and you didn't see it. Or as soon as he put the knife in, the woman that was in the box fell through and she's under the stage. You don't know this until you get older. Or like the guy with the cards, you don't realize that as soon as he grabbed your card, he already cupped your card and put it on top. And then you shuffled the deck, but he already had your card on top. So, like, these are the lies that these are the lies that America is out of. We're fresh out of these lies. Nobody's making another batch. There's just no more lies. Now, I'm of the opinion that the only way this gets fixed is no electricity. Electricity brings in everything that is bad to us as humans, and without it, we will live closest, and we will rely on each other way more than we do now. You know, the men will be better, the women will be better, the kids will be better. But again, I can't make that reality a thing, so I can just say that's what I believe in. Yeah, but that's what I believe in. It. Shout out to y'all for coming through. Shout out to everybody who is gonna watch this. I am gonna upload this as a video too, and you know. But I'm finna get out of here. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Remember, there is a Cash App link down below if you want to send me some snack money or something like that. Ko-Fi as well. And yeah. So with that being said, man, got a number of love and appreciation for y'all. I thought I heard my daughter. That's why I went blank. My fault. But yeah, I'm finna hop off here and I got some things to do on my end and I'm gonna get some rest. So shout out to y'all. You know what I mean? And I catch y'all boys back here tomorrow. We'll be back here tomorrow. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, man.
You ugly motherfucker.